So recently my mom called me and apologized. Said for what? She said, if I ever made you feel like you had to do something because I wanted you to do it. She pretty much mentioned that sometimes out of fear, out of worry, she may say things or do things to try to steer us in a certain direction that may not be aligned with our own vision, our own purpose, our own life. I told her thank you because I never thought she did that. I never ever been in that position where I felt as if my mom wasn't fully supportive of me taking a certain path. But it meant a lot to hear her apologize. And my mom has always apologized over the years. And the older I get, the more I realize how blessed and privileged I am to have a parent who's willing to apologize. My dad also apologizes pretty often. All the mistakes he made in the past and not being there and the mess ups and these things, he definitely does apologize, and I'm realizing how lucky I am to have that. As I get older and older, I start to realize how much my parents were just imperfect people trying to figure out how to do this life thing and this parenting thing. And so many of us have come to adulthood and gotten to see the world and experience things on our own. And I think it's long overdue for us to forgive our parents and to humanize our parents. I don't know anybody's parents who were perfect, right? It's impossible. You know, I was raised, of course, by a single mother. My mom had her things, my dad had his things. I know people who were raised in two-parent households who definitely didn't have the perfect example set in front of them either. And we all have different scars and emotional baggage and things we deal with, but every day I humanize my parents a little bit more. And let me tell you why. So I just turned 28 back in December. I don't think I have any answers to anything in life. I promise you I don't. Have I accomplished some great things? Absolutely. Have I been through a lot and overcome a lot and defeated this and helped somebody here, helped somebody there? Of course I have. But when people ask me for advice and they look at me as this wise old soul, like it's always been like that. They always look at me as the advice guy. Like he can put things into perspective. He has an old soul, he's mature, he's this, he's wise beyond his years, as they say. I promise you, I don't think I know anything. And it's part of the reason why I'm always trying to study things, because I don't think I know enough. At 28, the times where I was mommy, do this for me, do that for me, and being ungrateful, complaining, doing this, doing that, making it hard for her. My mom had 4 kids and was by herself, no college degree, living back home, trying to figure it out on welfare, on WIC, on all of these things. And I can't imagine being in that position right now. I can't imagine having 1 child to worry about right now. My mom had 4. And so when I think back to all those times where she was almost at her breaking point, you know, my mom, she's my favorite person in the world. She always has been and always will be. And she's the most perfect person in the world to me, although she's not perfect. She's a human being. And I can recall a couple vivid times where we were on the road and she's driving and all 4 kids in the car, and she pretty much had a nervous mental breakdown on the road, on the highway multiple times, and we almost crashed multiple times. Not intentionally, it just happened. She broke, she cracked. And as a kid, I didn't understand. I used to get mad, like the rare times where she would kind of not lose her cool to, you know what I mean, but she would just she would crack, right? And times where she probably needed therapy or needed somebody to talk to or somebody strong to lean on. Those were times when me as a child would look at her and be like, why you got an attitude? Or why you mad about this? Or why you talking like this? I didn't understand, yo. I didn't understand what she was going through as a human being, man. My dad, man, at 28, I mean, what do you have? 6+ kids and was on his 2nd wife and 3rd woman having children with, and my dad was effed up, yo. He messed up a lot. Still messes up sometimes, right? He ain't perfect. But damn, yo, I can't imagine being in that position at 28 years old to have over 5 kids and you're not really who you want to be, but you're trying to parade around the world as if you're this ultimate amazing guy, because all your potential from your childhood, from your adolescence, from your high school years, all your potential says you're supposed to be this, but you're not living up to it. But you're real good at faking it. You're real good at putting up this facade because you can still attract the ladies, you can still do this and do that, but you're really not right within. And you not being right within is causing you to hurt the people around you. That was my dad. When I think about now, I mean, I'm so imperfect. I have so many flaws, so many things I'm working on, and so many ways in which I'm trying to develop that I just can't imagine being in my parents' position, man. Sometimes my mom will tell me stories about different things we dealt with and what she was thinking in those times or what she allowed other people to pour into her, whether it was positive or negative. And I almost feel bad, yo. I feel so bad because my mom was just a human being trying to figure it out. So when it comes to my dad, I kind of go by this quote that says, when a wolf shows his teeth, don't be surprised when he bites, but reward him with kisses and he'll remind you for life. My dad, he's been himself, right? We talk all the time. He's working on different things still, but my entire life, my dad's kind of been a wolf. And he loves me genuinely. I mean, I wouldn't even ever question that. There was a time where I used to. Now, I don't ever question if my dad loves me or not. I know he loves me more than life itself, and he loves all his kids the same way. But you know what? Sometimes he's still the wolf. And I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm okay with that, you know? So instead of getting upset or getting bitter or holding it against him when he makes a mistake, like I used to as a kid, now I just thank him and applaud him when he does things right. When he calls me and says, I'm working on this now, I'm focused here. Thank you, Pop. That's all I want to hear is you doing your thing, because you doing your thing means we can do our thing long term as a family, as father, son, father, daughter. We can all get to a better space. And we're not in a bad space. You know, we do still have levels that we can get to in our relationship, and I look forward to it because I love my pops, man. I wouldn't trade him for the world. And I think when we all look back and reflect on most of our situations with our parents, they're not always the best, they're not always the healthiest, but half my DNA is him, half my DNA is her. The same for you. Half your DNA is your father, man. Half your DNA is your mother. And so without their mess ups and imperfections and flaws and mistakes and shortcomings, without all of that, you're not you. I'm not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm nowhere near myself. If my other half, 50% of my DNA was some other guy, I wouldn't even want that. I love who God made me. And I want y'all to do the same, man. And I think ultimately us forgiving our parents is one of the first steps that we can take to start moving forward and progressing in our own lives the way we should. Because one day I'll be a father. One day I'm gonna make a ton of mistakes and my kids are gonna look at me and think that daddy's supposed to have the Superman cape on all the time, but daddy's gonna be broken sometimes, and sometimes daddy's gonna crack. Sometimes daddy's not gonna be the perfect man, and that's okay. Because one day when they get older and we have these talks and we talk about these stories, they're gonna understand that daddy was just a human being that was doing his best. And sometimes parents, they love us in ways that may not align with our own life vision, and that's okay. What they really want is safety. You know, they went through certain things, and deep down, because they love us so much, they just want us to be away from as much harm and stress and turmoil as possible. But deeper down, when you follow your own path, even willing to disappoint them sometimes to a certain extent, when you follow your own path and you make that thing happen, that big dream, that grand vision, when you bring it to real life, they're gonna be so proud of you and so happy that you followed your own vision. And so the first step to doing this is to forgive our parents for just being human. I love you all, and Godspeed.